Hello folks, this is Steve AB4L. Warm summer night already. Got the window open. You'll hear the traffic. The more traffic there is, the better the economy, right? Even after dark, especially after dark. I was going through some things and I found these 3 old floppy disks. You know what they are, right? Some of you do. Let's have some fun with them. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you them like a photograph, but I'm moving it around. Genica, G-E-N-I-C-A, Ethernet card. These are all Ethernet cards. PCI bus, not ISA bus, but it's only 110 and 100 megabytes. This is old. Driver and setup program GN788. GN788 driver and setup program. Let's see what it does with that. Now this actually answers a question that came to my mind. I don't think I have, I think I got rid of the USB floppy, last floppy drive, USB external that I could use to read these things. So the AI overview is being a dumb shit here. Help drivers, that's a website. Genica GN788 10 to 100 PCI. That's it. Here's another one, driverguide.com. And you can download a zip that's got what is essentially on that floppy disk. All right, it was going to drive. Now this, for Windows 10, not likely. And then the rest gets to older stuff that's completely off the topic and only has some slight part of the name in a word somewhere in an article. Now, just for the fun of it, way off the track. Let's put in floppy disk. It still doesn't give us a picture of this. But if I just say Genica GN7888 Ethernet card, here it is. Do I dare go there? It's a place called Excess Supply. For $7.50, they'll sell me one of these. But the minimum order is 5 of them. Jenica offers an excellent standards-compliant 802.3, boy that's old, 10/100 network interface card for your computer to plug into the PCI bus. The very first PCI bus, 1.0 whatever. So the chipset supports a 10 to or 100 megabit per second data transfers, automatically senses media type, full duplex Ethernet, automatic configuration through the PCI BIOS, programmable PCI burst size, 32-bit bus mastering data transfers. This would place it back around the year 2000. And they got some other things you might be interested to buy at this place. So that's a pretty good hit. Now, just for the fun of it, eBay. eBay. Jenica GN788V. Here's different pictures of it. It's the same card as what we were looking at. Person's offering it for sale for $26, used. The other one claims for $6, new, but you have to buy as much as buying, it would cost you to buy one of these. And Temple, Pennsylvania, the United States. I don't know where Temple, Pennsylvania is. I used to live in Philadelphia, just for the fun of it. Near Reading. It's in the western part of the state. Okay. All right, we did pretty good on that one. Now, let's try another one. TrendNet, TrendNet, TrendNet. TrendNet, TEG, PCI, TXR. This one is newer. 10, 100, and 1000 megabits N-way, copper gigabit Ethernet adapter driver program. December 2003. This one being slower, I said, was more like 2000. TRENDNET, TEG. Notice the PCI, that's the bus. TXR, version 1. TrendNet.com. It's a website. Gigabit PCI Express adapter. Notice it isn't PCI bus, it's PCI Express. Now this is version 1.1R, up to 2 gigabit. All right, so this, if you need to plug it into a modern computer, I could plug it into one of mine here. That's not the long PCI bus. So they're still selling something like that, but that's not what we're looking for. Let's go to the old source. There it is. Can you see the difference? You see the full PCI bus here? Free shipping, $12. 30-day returns, new. This item is new in its original factory sealed packaging. There are other people selling the same thing for a little bit cheaper or about the same. This was a very popular card. Here's one for $4.50 plus $6 shipping. So obviously the $8.55 is, these people are trying to get rid of it without trashing it. So you're paying for the shipping and they're making $1 or $2. Here it is in the box. TR Reuse Group. What does that mean? And that looks pretty much like what I remember. And it was my first gigabit and there are other people selling the same thing. And it's somebody called Long John 7 blah, 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 blah. Does it say where it ships from? New and original factory sealed packaging. Now let's go back. Drivers. This is version 3.1. We assume if it was new in the box, they would have the floppy disk. I'm going to take the eBay off. Should have done that. And I'm going to say software drivers. Trend Nut customer support. Do you think you can still get the drivers from them? Softpedia. That's a trustworthy site. I'm showing you what's out there with something you don't usually see or think about. Whatever this is, it was last updated on February 2nd, 2008. Softpedia has been around a long time. So they got these different TrendNet things. This is the version 3 of the PCI gigabit adapter. It doesn't look like, see, they're listing all of them. So you have to search through here. Internet camera, Ethernet adapter, USB to Ethernet adapter. I know what that is. So there's a lot of them, and I'm not going to search for it. Now you notice how the other one, the search engine knew how to get to it faster. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. Let's see what TrendNet customer support says. The 10 to 100 megabit fast Ethernet PCI card version 1.0, perfect solution for connecting to a high-speed LAN in the year 2003. I'm clicking on that and it won't go away. 5-year warranty, discontinued product. It has been replaced by the version 3. Here are the downloads. Yes, you see the zip file? Like the other one was a zip file on Softpedia? Well, they want to be sure that you've got the right thing. So when you download this zip file, you're supposed to run a SHA1 checksum on it, and it has to match this. Then you have the real thing, not some malware that some other MF stuck in there to screw your computer up. And here's the PDF. And wherever I downloaded to it, it didn't automatically. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. We'll do it again. Oh, come on. Now what I'll do is I'll say open. There we go. I got it right this time. Remember, we're looking at ancient history. Here are the IEEE standards that it meets. Revision 2 of the PCI local bus specification. Hang on, there was just a news announcement about latest PCI spec release. The latest PCI specification to be released is PCI Express 7.0, which was officially released to the PCI SIG members on June 11th, 2025. I remember reading that the other day. It went by me. This newest spec doubles the data rate of the PCIe 6.0, and it can achieve 128 gigabits something per second. Double the data rate. There's the official announcement on the PCI SIG. See, every hardware subsystem in the computers, the manufacturers don't make chipsets and stuff like that to anything they think of. They only did that at the beginning of PCs. Then once they formalize things like who's going to be in charge of making the next technical specification of the PCI bus, as an example, or the next video standard, or the next CPU, you got it? And then when a new one comes out and it's approved, then the manufacturer can try to implement it, and then they compete with the different chipset manufacturers compete with each other to make people make the to put it on their computers. And you can get the drivers, and you don't have to think about it. And they all work the same way, no matter which computer you bought, because the chipsets are adhering to a single non-confusing, usually non-confusing standard. It's not the way it was at the very beginning. Everybody was doing it their own way. And remember, when the first automatic transmission started to become popular after the Second World War, everybody did their own pattern for how you did the shifting, but now that's not the way it is. There's only one pattern. Doesn't make what the make of the car is, who makes the transmission. They all have the same pattern because people were sick and tired of having to memorize 5 different cars. Their wife's, their own, and the one they drive at work as examples. Why are they all different? So they got it? All right, let's do the last one. Here they try to make it look like Greek letters. Edimax, 1,110 megabits per second, both 64 and 32-bit PCI. That TrendNet was just 32 bits. Gigabit Ethernet adapter drivers version 2201. I'm going to put the version in, and then we'll find the card. Edimax, that's the name of the company. But I want to see the results with this. Upgrade utility for Windows PC, XP, Vista, blah, blah, blah. But that's for something else. Wireless adapters. Now, the driver version is 2201, and we don't seem to be doing very well. See, there's Edimax.com and Edimax.us. I'd be careful. Driver Cloud, but nobody's coming up with it directly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. This is a USB adapter. It's not what we're looking for. It's not what we're looking for. We're looking for see how they tried to make it look like it was a Greek sigma? These are plug-in adapters for PCI in computers like I have today. It's not what we're looking for. Somebody might build a, quote, industrial PC that has a lot of PCI on it so that you can plug these all in and have one computer be a communications hub with separate wiring. So the company's still in business. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. EN 923 9230TX-6432. Doesn't match anything. So we actually have one that when I put that stuff in, the search doesn't find it. And it might very well be that they got out of the consumer area, and it may be that the type of customers they supply, hardly anybody would put that stuff online. We're looking for something like that, but old. We're looking for something like that. eBay. I don't think that's what we're looking for. Edimax. This is close. Now, why do I say it's close? You see that what this looks like here? That's the full early PCI bus. Kansas City, $15. That's a wireless one. This is Intel. Here's the newer one. You see the difference? It doesn't take that much of the, this one you can tell is the new version, the newest version. And what we were looking at here is close to what this was about. Oh, wait a minute. It says here EN92. All right. This one is EN9230, and this one is EN9235, 32-bit. This one is 64/32. What this person is selling has less capability than the adapter that this was the driver for, but would look almost identical to that physically. Ta-da! Let's see if they give the year. A brand new, unused, unopened, undamaged item in original packaging. They got it out of a warehouse, they got it out of an estate sale, they got it out of, whether it's car parts or old computer parts or things like that, They go to estate auctions, even for businesses that were warehouses that nobody went into for the last 15 years. And then somebody decides to sell anything that's in there. And then the scavengers have ways of distribution networks. It can be old car parts. Now, this will sound like I'm going to show you the equivalent in car parts. Rock Auto. All the parts your car will ever need. What do I drive? I drive a Mercury, I drive a 1996 Mercury, I drive a Sable, I have the dual overhead cams, 1996. I'm already set up, I'm going to have Scott's Garage, I'm not promoting anything, do some work. I actually have the parts This is one of the parts he needs. It's a gasket. Now I know this is not floppy disks, but remember, these are from around the year 2000. Now I'm talking about my car, which was model year 1996. We were talking about, could you actually get the network adapter card that these floppy drives had drivers to, that these came in the box with them? And the answer is kind of yes, new in the box. So what I need is engine, engine gasket kit, intake manifold gasket, intake plenum gasket, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. Hang on. There's two things highlighted. I'm trying to make that go away. I'm trying to make that go away. Wait a minute. I'm struggling with the way they've done this. Hang on. Intake plenum gasket. These are the wrong pictures. I'm sure they're showing me these up here instead of what I'm looking for. Intake manifold gasket. Still the wrong pictures. Let me try this. Don't do this to me. You're making yourself look stupid. What are you guys doing? Let's try one more thing. Exhaust and emission, EGR gasket, EGR valve. I've got a replacement for this. So it looks like that. That would fit on my car, and I've got one in that box. So why did I divert to this? I still have parts new in the box, either by an aftermarket manufacturer or original Ford Motor Company in some cases, just like we can go to eBay and I'm looking up things from around 25 years ago, computers at that time, and could I buy an actual PCI-based Ethernet adapter card that these originally were the software drivers for, back on Windows 3.1, something like that, whatever it was. Okay? Yeah, aren't the search engines great? Isn't it great to have the internet? Isn't it great to have the web? All I'm doing is having a little bit of fun reminiscing. Does it matter? Oh, in my car, I don't have the computers anymore, but I still have the car. I showed you the parallel kind of thing. Stevie before y'all. Just having fun. Saying see you in 73.